Hi everyone, and welcome to the first video of my new WordPress website design service channel. On this channel I hope to bring you lots of really useful videos on everything WordPress related. Mainly how to build websites in WordPress, useful plugins, tips on plugins that you can use to do certain things, and anything else really WordPress related. So I'll start with a bit of a shameless plug. This is my website, wordpresswebsitedesignservice.co.uk. Feel free to check it out if you need any services or if you know anyone who does. So as this is my first video, I'll also invite you to leave a comment down below of this video with a request for anything that you would like me to make a video about. If you know how to do a certain thing in WordPress, reviews on certain plugins or anything like that, and if I can oblige, I will certainly add it to my list of future videos. But in today's video I'm going to show you how you can use a great plugin to easily set up your Google Search Console and Google Analytics and also Google Tag Manager and everything Google related. So let's get started, shall we? So this is a website that I'm currently in the process of redesigning for a client, and they have very kindly allowed me to use this website in my video demonstration to you, because I'm now at the stage where I'm going to push this out to Google. Now, the site's not finished, but I've got the site to a point where we can start pushing it out to Google. So this company is called Wildlife Dreams. And the owner of this company and this website, Phil, is a wildlife photographer, and he recently moved to Estonia and has built this fantastic luxury wildlife photography hide complex, as you can see here. And they obviously wanted their site then changed and refreshed to reflect this new part of their business. Previously it was mostly just doing wildlife photography tours in countries around the world. So that's what I'm doing here. So if you are a wildlife photographer and you're into this sort of thing, I definitely recommend that you check them out. wildlifedreams.com, as you can see up there in the corner. But as I said, Phil has kindly allowed me to use this site to show you how we can set up the Google Search Console, Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. Now, whatever we all think of Google dominating and ruling the world, the fact is that they do. And if you, as well as being on all the other search engines, which of course you mustn't forget, Google really is the main one. So it's very, very important that to get your site seen and to get your site building ranking in the search engines, you need to set up Google Search Console. Google Search Console helps Google then crawl your site, index your site and all the other things that it needs to do. And while it can do it without you having the Google search engine, if you've got Google search engine set up, then you can submit all your sitemaps to Google search engine, and Google will then know more about you and more regularly crawl. Plus, also, when you've got this set up, when you make a change to a page or you add a new page or anything like that, then you can go into Google Search Console and directly submit this page or this new site or anything to Google to get it indexed faster. So there is huge advantages to having Google search engine. Google Analytics is the next thing too. While Google Analytics in itself gives you lots and lots of information about visitors to your site and what's going on your site and stuff like that, it also gives Google that same insight. Now, why would you want to do that? People say, oh, well, quite simply, the more Google knows about your site, the better it can reflect that in your search engine ranking. So if Google sees through Google Analytics lots of visitors to your page, lots of activity on your site, if Google sees people making bookings on your site or making purchases, then it sees that, especially if they've come from a Google search, it sees that that person got what they were looking for and that your site has value to those people. And that is how it will start pushing your site further up the search results. It will increase your ranking because it sees that you have good quality content that's relevant to a certain class of people. And that's really what Google wants to do. When Google doesn't want people coming to Google and spending all day on Google, what Google wants is someone to come to Google looking for something, and that Google gives them what they want, so they come back to Google to look again. So Google's not going to just serve anything. Google wants to make sure that they match your site with what a person is searching for. And that's why it's important as well to have Google Analytics. So once you have that, Google can know much more about your website and help match your site to the right person, to the person searching for what you are offering. Now that's good for Google, but it's also good for you as well, because at the end of the day, whatever you're selling, in the case of this, for example, what Phil wants are people who will come to his site and people who will book a place in his hide. He wants photographers, primarily he wants wildlife photographers too. So he doesn't want people coming to his site that are not interested in this. That's no good to him, is it? And the other thing is Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager, that can be useful when setting up Google Ads or other things. I won't go too much into the details about that, but these are the 3 things that are good to get set up on your website. Now you can go and set these up individually. You can go to search.google.com and set up your Google Search Console there. You can go to analytics, google.com, set up your analytics there. You can do everything manually. Of course you can. And if you know a bit more about how to do it, then by all means go for it. But if you want a very simple, quick and easy way to do it, and you have a WordPress website, then you can do it simply with a plugin. So in the plugin section, it's actually already there, or you can search for it. SiteKit, if you search for SiteKit, for example, then it will come up. But you saw it just down there. This is Google's own WordPress plugin for this, so it's perfect. Yeah. So you come in here, you install it. I've already installed it. I haven't activated it yet because I wasn't at that stage. So now I'm at that stage. Now I will activate it here and take the next step. You can also activate or deactivate down in the list of plugins here. Once that's done, if it's the first time, then Google will prompt you up here to start the setup, or you can go to SiteKit up here, go to the dashboard and initiate the startup from there. And as soon as you do that, it brings you to the setup page. Now it prompts you initially to connect Google Analytics as part of your setup. So if you want to do that, of course, tick yes and sign in with Google. So here you need to sign into your Google account. If you already have set up Analytics and Search Console independently, then you need to sign into the Google account that you set those up on. If not, sign into the Google account that you want to set these up on, because that's what we're going to do now. And once you've done that, the first thing it will do is set up Google Search Console. So again, if you've already set it up, it should already recognize it. If not, it will ask you to verify. It may ask you to verify anyway. If you haven't set it up, Google will add this verification token to your site's HTML code now through the plugin. So that's why it's much easier to do it this way. And then it will prompt you to do things like this. Turn on metrics, yes you want to. Set up Search Console, yes you want to. And set up Analytics. Now it's asking me this because Search Console and Analytics have not been set up at all for this website. If it has, then it will take you to your account and ask you to choose the Search Console. If you've got multiple Search Console websites in your Search Console account or your Analytics account, you'll then have to go through and select the one that you want to add. Otherwise, as it's doing here, it's setting it all up for me first time. So here we are at Analytics. Now these are all mine. I've got lots of others, but I don't have one for this. So I'm going to come straight down to the bottom here and I'm going to set up a brand new account for this. Okay, so it's already inserted everything because I'm on the website already, and if I want to change anything I can, otherwise I can just leave it as it is. I want to change the time zone, so I'm going to change it to Estonia because they are in Estonia. There we go. Now you can turn this off if you want to or not, but it's good to enable enhanced measurements depending on what you're doing. So this will allow the Google to measure interactions with your content, such as file downloads, completing forms, video views, e-commerce purchases, bookings, anything like that. So I'm going to turn this on because we have an e-commerce booking system, forms to enter, and we want to measure all these things. So it's very important. It's also very important if you want to run Google Ads. So I'm going to say yes to this and click this to create my analytics account. So it's creating the analytics account for me already through here. So I didn't have to do it separately, although as I say you can do. Now it's just taking me to the terms of service. I'm going to accept all that, of course I am. I'm going to accept all that. You don't need to accept down these are extra things, so you don't need to do all that, but you do need to tick those two things, the most important things to accept. And there we are. We have set up Google Analytics and Google Search Console. So here you can see that if you click this, it will take you to the main Google Analytics section on Google itself. And here you can continue doing more setup. We won't do that now. But within this you can get lots and lots more information. Now it can be quite complicated and quite difficult to navigate as well. So the good thing about SiteKit is it will give you a nice little condensed overall version here, which is quite useful because sometimes you just want to come in and look at some of the data, a simple chart of the data here. You've got this nice little pie chart that you can select between locations, devices. There's nothing there at the moment because we've only just set this up. And this will start to gather data now. So it's very, very good. It's useful when you log into your website, come into SiteKit and get a nice, simple little overview of this. Down below here is the Search Console data. So again, it's going to gather data, but here it will start appearing like impressions and clicks that you've got from search and the search terms that people are using. So again, it's very useful information, a nice little condensed version, or you can click this button here to then go to the main Search Console panel to see more details, more information. So on the initial setup, that's what you do. You set up Search Console and you get the option to set up Analytics. If you want to do more, you can go to Settings. So you see that you've got these three here, or you can go to Connect More Services. If you have a Google Ads account, then you can set up Google Ads on there too. You can connect your Google Ads account to SiteKit. So that's I would definitely advise that you do that if you have a Google Ads account. We now have this option that you could set up on your website that users can sign in with Google, with their Google account to do stuff. If that's something that you need, by all means set it up, but it's not always necessary. This is necessary though, or not necessary, but useful too. Again, Google Tag Manager. Now the way that Google tracks everything across your website and across everything that you do, across ads, analytics and everything, is with the Google tag. You can just leave the Google tag and let it do everything it wants, or you can set up an account with Google Tag Manager and you can go in and control more about what it does. So you can set up specific tags to send specific information through to Google Analytics or through to Google Ads. So you can, for example, if there's a particular page on your site that you want to see how many people view, you can set up a tag which logs each time someone visits that page, logs an event and sends it, and you can choose to send it to Google Analytics or to Google Ads. If you want to measure how often people fill in a particular form on your site on a particular page, then you can set up a specific tag for that, a specific tag for purchasing a certain product or a certain booking. So you have much more control if you use Google Tag Manager. Same thing again, if you haven't got one already, you just go and set up a new account, create the account, and it will do it all for you just like it did with the analytics. So we come up over here, we can set this up now. So I'm going to say Wildlife Dreams again, they're in Estonia. quite simply there. If you want to share data anonymously with Google and others, you can. Otherwise, you come down here and do the container setup. You want to set it up for web, and you want to put the website in there. So the container name is going to be your URL, of course, wildlifedreams.com. I want to measure activity on the web, not on iOS or any of the others, and I click create. Usual thing, read the terms and conditions. We all do, don't we? Click yes, and away we go. Now it's prompting you to install this there, but you don't need to, because with SiteKit that's already done. If you're not using SiteKit, then you need to manually paste this code into the head tags of your site. But as I said, we don't need to, because we've already done it. Now if I go refetch my account, now we'll find Wildlife Dreams in there. This is a little bit more complicated than the analytics, but still much easier, and complete setup. And that's it. And now we have Google Tag Manager set up. We come to the settings, connect services, sorry. Now if we expand this, you can see that we've got Tag Manager set up, there's a container ID, and the snippet is inserted on your website. So it's all done. You don't have to worry about that code. And then you can go to Google Tag Manager and do whatever you want to do. So that's it. There's other options here, as I said, if you want to set them up. Now one other thing I'll show you is the admin settings. Now this is something new with Google, and it's to do with the new European Union rules about consent. Basically, some countries in the EU now demand that a user must have explicitly given consent before being tracked. So in that case, that means that Google or you cannot track their activity unless they've actively clicked that consent button and said, yes, you can track me. And because of that, they've now implemented this new Google consent mode. And so what you can do is you can come into admin settings, you can enable Google consent mode, and then you can install their plugin for it. So if you click this, it installs the plugin automatically for you. Now you can't use this plugin alone. You're also going to need to use a consent management plugin too. I'll show you one of those in a future video. But so once that's set up, if we go to plugins, you should see that now it's been activated. We come down to the bottom there. It's WP Consent API. So there we go. That's already set up. So I'll quickly show you the plugin that I use for all mine and my client sites. There are many others out there, of course, but the best one I think is, if we go to search, it is, if you just type in GDPR, there you go. It gives you all these options. Now this is the one I use, compliance, and it works well with the Google WP Consent plugin. It works well with those two. So you don't actually need, because you can use the free version of this along with the WP Consent plugin. They will work together. Compliance has its own consent Google consent mode, but you have to pay for that. That's in the paid version. In the free version you don't get that, but you don't need it if you have the WP consent plugin working with SiteKit. Okay, so hope you found that useful, and if you did, please give this video a like. Please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification for the future videos that I'll have coming up. And as I said at the start, if you have a request for a video on a certain plugin or a certain thing with anything WordPress related and I can oblige, I will certainly add that to my list of future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.